Welcome to Bros. We are all brothers from another mother. We are I Hate You, Alan. This is just all about dudes, guys talking about stuff, dudes being dudes, and brothers checking on brothers. There's me, Sub 60 Ed. We've got the crazy man. We've got Jim, the nature boy, Scarano, and we got Alex, aka Grew on Tech. And I think Pete Johnson may be joining us later. So, gentlemen, how are we this fine evening? I'm not going. How are we doing this fine evening? Anyway, all right. So let's
the
let's
Eagles are in the
let's
Super
dive
Bowl.
right.
We're
Let's
doing
dive
great.
right.
Alan and I are doing great.
Let's dive right into it. Okay, so the Super Bowl. So, in my opinion, and we can discuss this, whoever has the best set of referees that they bring with them to help them win the game
That'd be
will win the Super Bowl because the Eagles brought their set to play Washington. And Washington helped them. And Kansas City obviously always has their referees in the back pocket. Therefore, whoever has the best set of officials. You guys agree? Sounds like you agree.
I mean, the referees for the Eagles didn't get suspended.
It doesn't matter if they got suspended or not. Saquon Barkley literally mugged Frankie Louvu on that fourth down play. That would have changed everything.
What are you talking about?
Mugged them. I'm just seriously trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out who's going to have the best set of referees.
What did the refs do to cause Saquon to break off like huge runs, including the first play of the
that mind, and you didn't pay, and they didn't help you paste 55 on us. So I mean, actually, all things being said, even if you take away those plays that were questionable, we still got pasted for 55. I thought, it was a great season for the Reds. It's the Commanders. The ownership has come out and said it's the Commanders. They're not changing it. And
definitely they were the Cinderella team. I mean, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you also go by the logo of the conspiracy theory of the logo of the Super Bowl colors, always goes to the team that wears those wins. So it looks like it could be KC. If you go back in history, there's only been 4 or 5 teams that have won the Super Bowl that did not have the colors of that the Super Bowl.
What do you mean?
So if you look at the logo, like this current logo is all red. There's supposedly a conspiracy theory on that stating that if you go back in history, every winning Super Bowl, that team has won the Super Bowl.
Really? Wow. Well, I think we lost to Philadelphia because the Rocky statue curse is in full effect.
I even told you that one.
For those three people watching,
we got 3. Nice.
For the 3 people watching, if you're not familiar with the Rocky statue curse, 5 past teams have put their team's jersey, paraphernalia, colors on the Rocky statue in front of the Philadelphia Art Museum, and they've proceeded to lose. The Washington fans did the same thing, and I had a friend of mine from St. Joe's tell me beforehand, "Hello, Gloria. Thank you for being one of our 3." All right. Hey, Gloria. Hey. Hopefully Jim told you the check's in the mail. So a friend of mine from college said, "You better be careful. There's that Rocky statue's cursed." And I'm like, rah, 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 rah. And then I had to go eat crow the next day. I'm like, you know what? I'm a true believer. And, it's like, and actually, so I saw somebody posted a picture of all 5 Rocky statues with the different teams' colors and the scores underneath them. Go Birds.
Well,
Jim, what's the feeling in the that whole area is like, is it all? I know you're in Jersey.
Yeah. So I mean,
What are you talking? I mean, what's
I'm
going
not.
on?
I'm a fan, but as I've said before, I'm not fanatical.
Thank you, Margaret.
Hey,
Please,
Margaret.
appreciate you watching.
And I've always been. I
would hold off. I would hold that check for a couple days, Gloria. Once you receive it,
yeah,
I'll let Jim know when you can cash it.
I'll remind you, Gloria, that you and I are from the same mother. But so I am like a lot of Philadelphia fans, and I don't know where Alan stands on this, but we're always like very skeptical and concerned. I've seen more confidence from fans coming into this game than I ever can remember. Like they really feel like this is the year that we're going to take down Kansas City. We feel like we had the game 2 years ago in that Super Bowl, and I'm not a guy to blame games on refs like you are, Ed, and refereeing sure didn't come into that game, but I think the condition of the field definitely had an impact on the last Super Bowl that the Eagles played in when they played the Chiefs. We couldn't really get a pass rush. I think we're going to get after Mahomes. And quite honestly, like our roster is just from top to bottom is better. Now, that being said, like
hold on. Yeah, you should be nervous. You may want have Jim Venmo you the money.
Yeah, Gloria doesn't do Venmo.
You maybe want to cash out there, Gloria.
Gloria's old school. She don't do Venmo.
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah,
I don't know. Can you catch a check for 50 cents?
Yeah,
exactly.
But I think a lot of the analysts are saying it's going to come down to Hurts versus Mahomes and the two head coaches and the difference that they can make. So we'll see. I'm confident though. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to going back to my neighbor's house for the third week in a row and eating some really good food. We got a really good menu lined up.
Mm-hmm.
And
what are you going to be eating?
Well, we're going to eat some local Charlie's wings from Charlie's.
Okay.
We're going to have a sub tray. I will probably make hot crab dip and
man,
a salad. Right. And I think somebody's bringing a big tomato pie. You know what tomato pie is, right?
Hold on, go back to the crab dip. So explain. Hold on, before I do, I just got a message from Pete Johnson. Apologies, his business dinner is running on very long. Hi to all the bros. That's all you guys.
All right.
Ovechkin just scored. Ovechkin just scored again tonight. Scored tonight.
What's the countdown? How many left?
18.
18.
18 to
the close. It's going to be close.
It's not going to be. It won't be this. I don't think he would almost have to average like 1 and change a game. So Jim, talk to us about this crab. Like, what's in it? Is it like, do you go to
crab?
You go to Costco? Do you go to Costco? Oh, no shit. So what do you do? So it's okay. So smart ass. We're in the middle. We're in winter, and it's not crab season. I know that. So what is? So
you go to the supermarket, get one of those cans. The cans of jumbo lump crab meat,
Time out. Stop. Huh? Are you telling me somebody in Jersey that's right off the water goes and gets canned crab meat?
In February, yes, you do.
I thought you guys would freeze it or something. Okay.
No. Yeah, okay. I could dig up some clams. And I actually thought about it, but as you know, Ed and others, I'm always nursing some form of injury. So I got an ankle issue right now, and I don't know if I can get in the water and dig up clams on Friday.
Okay, here.
It would actually be good for it.
Thank you, Gloria. We covered that. Yeah, it has crab in it. Exactly.
I make my Super Bowl chili.
Ooh.
All right, so what else is in your crab dip? So there's crab.
Hot crab dip usually has cream cheese, cheese like cheddar cheese or something like that. Usually there's Worcestershire. You could put Old Bay in it. There's a number of different recipes out there. Some has sour cream, some has mayo in it. and you mix it all up and you just bake it in the oven. I like to put some like breadcrumb on the top to give it a little bit of a crust on top.
Like you said, there's different recipes. Like, is there one recipe that you stick with that's kind of that you've kind of tweaked and it's kind of got the Jim Scarano?
No. My wife gets very mad at me because I literally, like, each time I do it, and I've done it a bunch of times, I'll literally go to my phone and I'll Google, hot crab dip, and then I'll just look at the first three. And
I do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
And she's like, you have to make it exactly like you did last time. And I was like, I don't remember which recipe I used. Yeah. So.
Good. So what do you eat? So what's the so you have the crab dip. So what is your usually accoutrement that you eat it with? Like, what do you use, like scoops? Do you use Doritos? Do you get pieces of like bread, and what do you usually do?
I do like to dip tortilla chips in it, but usually some crackers, like different kinds of crackers.
Okay.
Like, I usually put out like a chip and then like two different kinds of crackers, and let people decide what they want to dig in with. I don't usually do bread because usually there's always other bread on the menu.
Right. Yeah. Well, that sounds really, Jim. That sounds really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to hear. Now I want to hear about Alan's chili. I guess this is turning into the Bros Super Bowl food episode.
It's I make the chili every year.
Is it called Hormel out of a can?
Oh. Come on, Ed.
The Eagle's gonna pick you up and drop you.
There you go. Yeah, the Eagle's the Eagle's not gonna pick me up and drop me. The Eagle's just gonna fly me away, and it's gonna be like, the Eagle. I gotta always be careful when
I'm not even gonna go there.
Birds of prey running around. I gotta be careful.
I use basically the same recipe that I make mine by taste, but normally it all has the same stuff.
Okay.
I use my own seasoning. So I'll mix my own seasoning. I don't really buy the pre-made chili stuff. So I'll use green peppers.
Like what's in your seasoning? Like what would you don't have to give away any family secrets or anything, but
chili powder, salt, pepper, chili flakes, chili powder, some other seasonings as well. Then you have like 4 different types of peppers.
Nice.
Kidney beans.
Will you jalapenos in your? Will you like jalapenos?
I used to, and what it used to be was I used to call it a 3-day chili because I would actually have
stay with you for 3 days afterwards.
No, actually, I'd have it simmering on the stove for 3 days with huge jalapenos in there.
Oh,
then the day of the Super Bowl, I would slice those open and let everything flow in. One of the things I also put in is black olives.
Okay.
Most people don't like it, but my daughter loves them. We would make it when she was little, and she goes, "Well, let's throw this in and this." I said, "We can try it, but it won't work. I've been doing this for a long time." But yeah, she definitely loves that. I used to make my own homemade jalapeno cornbread as well.
Ooh. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds really good. So what do you, is that you, Jim, making noise?
Yeah, clicking on the mic or something, or
what the?
I was trying to turn up my volume.
Yeah, wrong side, bro. That was the microphone as everybody's screeching their ears.
You don't have to use that. Use your hearing aids.
I know this one's not working right. It's like,
is it that or the? It's the operator.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Alex, what time does Super Bowl come on for you? 2:00, 3:00?
It's 3:30. Pacific time.
See, I would love that.
They're 3 hours behind us.
Yeah.
I would love that. Yeah. In fact, I got a question for everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that all right, Ed?
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, go
ahead. Yeah, you don't have to.
So
I'm not in charge, Jim. You're the co-host.
Oh, okay.
We've already assumed, right?
Damn, I keep forgetting to put that in my. Anyway, I know this question has been thrown out probably before in other groups and that sort of thing, but if you had it your way, would you vote to have the Super Bowl on Saturday instead of Sunday?
No, I can't. I would if it's me, no, because
No.
you're
a traditionalist.
I'm a traditionalist. When it, there's just some things that have like Super Bowl Sunday. It's just
If I had a vote, I would say let's play it in the outside. Let's play it in the north. Let's play it in the cold.
Yes.
Yeah. If you
that
really want
I
to
would
be,
say,
I want to see.
that.
I want to see them play in the snow. I
Right.
Like in
mean,
Green Bay?
we all know why they're doing it. It's because they make all the money down in the warmer
Well,
climates and so
people
forth.
because the people who are paying the big money to go to these things don't want to be in the cold, Alan. It's
But how do
course.
you decide what like when it's going to be outside in the cold? Like which you just
but it won't
rotate
be. It
around,
has
or-
to be. It has to be in a dome stadium if it's in a cold weather.
It's in the
area.
dome or it's in the south. I mean,
Yeah.
it may rain in the outside, but I mean, if it's in
Mhm.
Tampa or somewhere, it'll rain. It could rain, but
That's
other
why.
than that,
That's why I think the next stadium that's built here in the area will be a dome stadium because I know he'll try to get the Super Bowl to come to this area.
Hmm. What about you, Alan? Would you move it to Saturday or no?
nah.
That's
No.
I meant Alex.
Would
I
you-
meant Alex. Sorry.
I mean, I don't really care as much as you guys do. I mean, I would watch it on Saturday as well as on Sunday, but I guess tradition and more people would still want to have it on Sunday because that's how it's been for the last 100 years.
Well, would you like to see it go with like the best out of 7? I mean, look at the playoffs for the Stanley Cup, NBA, baseball. They're like 7 games.
it's too violent as a sport. Actually, did you hear that they're already the owners want to go to an 18 game season now? They're pushing for an 18 game season.
How many we play now?
17.
17.
And that was expanded from 16 or
Right.
what?
So it's
Right. I mean, each game is more money, but what you end up doing, it lengthens the season. It puts more abuse on the body. The collective.
I would only like that if they eliminated the preseason. Totally.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I agree. They would, but they would. Yeah.
Maybe-
Eliminate it totally.
It would be cool if Super Bowl is played like 2 games, one on each team's home turf, like they do like in soccer when they do like Euro Cups and stuff, 1 game is played on one team and then second game plays on another team and then the scores are, let's say who scores more basically, or the, the goal differential, basically makes a difference. So it's kind of,
Wow.
like a playoff play.
So okay, so if they both won a game, it would be whoever scored the most points or the points difference. That's an interesting concept.
That sounds like an idea from a guy that doesn't follow football and is.
No, he follows football.
That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
I follow football, and that's
Oh
how
yeah, American football, right.
In Europe, let's say they play 2 games and then they check the scores. If there is still a tie, then they play like overtime, basically, to determine, and then penalty kicks to determine who actually won. I mean, after the second game. I mean, just an idea.
Yeah.
Now, Alex, will you watch the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I always do.
Okay.
I mean, I watch it. I don't follow it all the time. I'll watch the Super Bowl. I mean, I love tormenting the locals.
Yeah.
But but you're really a Steel. But at the heart of it, you're really a Steelers fan because that's what the part of the country you're from.
No, I'm not. I'm actually in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Now, what's funny is that I'm probably not. I am really torn here, Jim. To be quite honest with you, because I can't. Rooting for the Eagles just makes me throw up in my mouth, and then I sit there and say, okay, who's on the other side? Then I like Andy Reid. It's just like the whole Kansas City thing is starting to make me throw up in my mouth.
And so either way, you're going to throw up in your mouth. So
exactly. So, but what's funny is my daughter, who spends a lot of time with my mom, and I got the whole got a lot of relatives in Philadelphia. She says, I want to root for the Eagles, and because our aunts and uncles and stuff like that for the Super Bowl and to support them. I'm like, all right. She just, I wasn't even going to try to explain it with her. You can't root for them. They're in your conference, and they just beat the hell out of you. Dropped 55 on you.
I would root for the Redskins if you were in it.
I know.
I think they're the only NFC East team I would root for. There's no way I would root for Dallas or the Giants. No way.
No.
So does anybody gamble? Alex, do you put any money on any of the game or no?
No, I don't gamble. At all. I mean, I don't gamble
Me
on
neither.
soccer either. I mean, because it's so hard.
Yeah.
But it's amazing all the prop bets, right? Like that, like they're gonna have a bet for everything.
They're gonna have the bet for the flip of the coin, right there.
Yeah.
So. Right. Well, they're gonna have a bet if is it the guy in the Eagles that reads the book, or is it Dallas?
No, Eagles. AJ
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, it's like how many pages will AJ Brown read during the Super Bowl?
Right.
There's a prop bet.
And what's her name?
What's the over under? What's
her name that's with Kelsey? She'll have some bets on her too.
Yeah, what's her name? Tay.
What is her name?
Taylor.
Taylor Swift. That's right.
Taylor Swift. I'm
not a Swiftie.
Don't see Jim's playing it like Taylor Swift.
I forgot her name.
As he's playing the music in the background.
No.
Hey Jim, not looking over your not kind of scanning your son's room.
Yeah.
Is that a Taekwondo belt rack behind you?
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's Taekwondo or
whatever
or karate or whatever. Yeah. He dabbled for a few years and then
the reason why I said is Vlad has one in his room too of his belt for Taekwondo. All in there. And that's what I was like, wow, okay. That's
and then I made a little shelf for his couple trophies that he's got, Oh God. Why does he have a bottle of spiced rum on the top shelf there? That's not good.
Because that's a trophy.
Yes.
This kid.
He's probably his first one.
Ed, he's into day trading now. Freshman in college, and he's dabbling in day trading.
Yeah, you told me that. So how's he? Okay.
How's he doing it?
What? Why is she telling me that?
Because you threw up in your mouth twice. Because you're throwing up in your mouth.
Oh God! Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So how's he doing with the day trading?
I mean, he tells his mother more than he tells me, but he's like, "Oh, I made $120 today." Well, she woke up the other day and it was the stock market's going to crash today because of Trump's tariffs or something like that.
Right? Yeah. Well, it has been volatile.
Yeah. So he's making a couple dollars here and there. He's not losing money, which is good, but he's making me nervous. He's making us both nervous because he'll go, I need $3,500 out of my account. And I'm like, what? What are you doing? You know what I mean? This is a 18-year-old kid in college. Like, you're not that smart, I don't think. Or maybe
he rolls up as he rolls up in 3 weeks in a Lambo.
Yeah. He's been messing. He's been messing with Tesla. He's obsessed with Tesla.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You should have him come down here. Everybody's got a Tesla down, except Alan and I. Everybody else has a Tesla down here.
Crazy. Yeah.
Actually, what's actually starting to pop up is those the Tesla SUVs, those things that are god awful.
The Cybertrucks.
Cybertrucks, yeah.
Yeah, you've been definitely seeing them more. I mean,
is that a Tesla?
Symbols.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cybertrucks.
Cybertruck.
Oh God, they're hideous.
Looks like a urinal.
Looks like a trash can on wheels.
What did you say, Alex? What's it look like?
Like a urinal, in a mall, like a cheap
urinal.
A urinal. Yeah. It reminds me of something from, what was the Mel Gibson movie from the 80s?
Oh yeah, it was Mad Max.
Mad Max?
Yeah.
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Road
Warrior?
Road Warrior, was it?
Yeah, Mad Max, Road
Where
Warrior.
they're driving through the desert in this
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm gonna throw another topic out, changing gears a little bit.
We don't do
Okay.
topics here. We're just guys
Not
hanging
a
out. We don't
topic
do-
then, Ed. It's a freaking question for crying
Just
out
ask the
loud.
question then, Jim. Jesus, what?
I can't
do you go to
preface
your,
it.
Do you go to your buddy's house and say, dude, I got a list of topics that I want us to discuss while I'm here. And after that, if we have any time, we can go on to something else. But these are my topics.
Yeah, sometimes
That's
I
not.
do.
I'm Jim.
What
I
are
love
those
you,
red
brother.
flags about
I'm sure you
Jim?
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a real red flag. Yes.
Hey,
so, I'm sorry.
maybe
Jim.
I
Go
want to
ahead.
bring more than 3 viewers to the table on any given night. You know what I mean? Like maybe we need to. Yeah.
We
Anyway,
have four.
We have four?
We have four. We have 2
All
here,
right.
and we have 2 on Instagram. So we've
Nice.
got 4.
Oh, we're on Instagram. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
through my account. Yeah.
Nice, Ed.
Send people to Instagram. If you have people on Instagram, send them to Instagram.
All right.
All right, what is it?
So I'm just curious to know how you would handle, like, say you have a colleague or more than one colleague, and they
Can I
things that-
pretend since I'm out of work right now? Can I just kind of pretend?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way?
absolutely. You can go on past history if you want.
Okay, pass this.
And the colleagues like don't really do things the way you would do them and the way you think they should be done. Like, do you have those hard conversations with those colleagues, or do you just let them be? And
Are they getting the work done? Is it legit?
Yeah.
It's hard because in the educational world, like, how do you determine whether work gets done?
Oh,
I mean, like, some of it gets done wrong, I feel like.
well,
Or not how I would
feel
do
right.
the work.
Well, how you might do it, but if your superiors accept it, it is what it is. As long as you don't get blamed for it.
Yeah.
You just
I was gonna
CYA.
say, yeah. Like, do you have are they your you could say, hey, Joe, that way's good, but it sucks. Let's try it this way.
You're not serious right now.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, but no, what you could say is
Maybe that's why you're out of a job.
Yeah, maybe it probably is. Ow, that hurt.
I'm just kidding.
I know. Maybe. To Alan's point, it's kind of like you could be that guy and go to your supervisor and say, hey, I think there's a problem, or say, hey, I mean, what's the problem? I mean, can you give a little bit more detail? Like you could say, I mean, they're not doing it the way you would do it?
I have numerous examples, really, but some is they're not stepping up and it could be showing up for where they're supposed to be. It could be addressing student behavior when they should. It could be a lot of things, really. But
I guess what is the protocol for that amongst your colleagues if you go to them? And
here lies the problem.
You're not your super. If you're not the super, are you?
Here lies the problem, because what happens in the public sector is completely different than the private sector, and the public sector needs to adopt more philosophies and ways of doing things from the private sector, but it'll never happen. Or at least, I haven't seen it happen. I don't know.
I've been in the private sector and I've seen it, not me personally, but where people, go and try to tell somebody to do something, and it's like, you're not my supervisor,
right?
Stay in your lane.
Yeah, I thought too.
I'm sure Alex has seen that too. Somebody tells, hey, why don't you do it this way? Go ahead.
Well, see, in the private sector, for example, as I work for a manufacturing company, right? Basically, the end result matters, and how it's done. It does matter, but not as much. Okay, the end product is okay, and it's passing all the tests, and it's being sold to customer, and customer is happy. Then it could be maybe 1, 2, or 3 ways to make it happen, and it could be a matter of individuality, how it's made. Like, let's say if I do software development and I write a code and I get a good end result, nobody cares how I did it, okay? And somebody else might do slightly differently, but if the result is okay, I mean, then nobody can say, oh, why did you do it this way? It's not the conventional way, or it's not the right way. What's the right way? Yeah, I mean, but
I guess in now in our world, like you have a lot more working together with people trying to accomplish the same thing, doing a lot of the same thing. I mean, unless you're holed up in your classroom like Alan is, but he's got support staff and people in there with him, that hopefully hopefully you do, right, Alan?
We just got a 4th teacher at the beginning of the school year. So you figure I was holding roughly 17 on my caseload for half the school year, where my caseload is only 15, should be, and not having planning time at the elementary level on some aspects. I do what I can. I've learned in this old age that try not to rock the boat, try to CYA and play the political game, because you can't trust.
It is a game.
You can't trust your coworkers, because they will throw you underneath the bus quicker than you can blink an eye, because a lot of them don't have loyalty.
That's tough. That you can't build that kind of.
You can. There's certain people in my building I wouldn't trust. I'll play the game. I worked with individuals in middle school and high school that I never trust, except maybe 1 or 2 people. My current position, I do trust them, but once again, if it comes down to you or them in the firing line, I'm trying to keep my head down, do what I'm supposed to the best of my ability. And I think that's one of the things that I haven't, or my team hasn't gotten really barked about, is that we haven't complained. We've been doing a lot more work with less, and we haven't complained. And I think that was the only nice light, that, hey, we're doing all this, we're making it work, even you're giving up your planning time, or sometimes you give up your lunch to work with the kids.
I guess it goes back to that old adage, you can only control your words and actions. So
yeah,
do your best. And like you said,
I mean, if it's affecting students, then I would have the students go to whoever that supervisor is or superior and say, hey, I've gone to this person, I'm not getting anything happening, and have the students throw them under the bus versus you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Ed, what do you want to talk about now?
So Jim, what we're saying is you're to go up to your person and say, dude or dudette, male or female, and say, hey, get your shit together, do it the right way. We're here for the kids. Don't make me have to say it again. So that's what you do, man. That's what you do. How we handle it in court. That's how we handle it in corporate.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you handle it in corporate.
Jim, hire sub 60 Ed to imitate a student in your building and have him say it.
I would love Ed. I would love Ed to be our principal or superintendent. That's what I would like.
There you go. That's what I need to see. That's what I need to be. That's what I need to.
We could reenact what was the movie with actually it was based on a true story, right? The African American principal. He was great. What was his name? Joe.
It was Samuel L. Jackson played the principal. No.
Joe. Oh God. Didn't he walk around with a bat or something?
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
So was Substitute.
Oh, lean on. Oh, look,
Joe.
hey,
Joe. It's a real short name.
lean on
Lean
me.
on me.
No, it's not lean
Well,
on me. Oh,
Sorry,
no, it's
Rubio,
not
not lean on me.
Yeah. Joe Clark. Joe Clark.
Go
Is
Clark.
that lean on me, Rubio? Joe Clark.
No, that's probably one of his long snappers.
Hey Siri, what movie was Joe Clark the principal in? Watch, it's going to be Lean on Me, probably.
It probably will be, and then you'll have to admit it, and he's going to
Lean on Me.
lean on me.
Right.
Rubio for the win here. We'll put him back
Yeah,
up.
Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman. Yeah.
Sam
one.
Sam
Ed,
Jackson.
you can be the new. You could be the new Joe Clark.
All right. Hey, I'd do that. Go and
Yeah.
kick ass, take names.
That's what we need. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, Alex, not Alex, Alan. I was looking
Yo.
at. Are you okay? What is that? Maybe you
It's
can share that with us.
it's a company that I'm one of their ambassadors for. It's Ruck, and it's Are You Okay? It's actually it supports first responders. It's a company called Dean Fit, and they do they have 5K up in New York for the Twin Towers. That all the money that they raise goes to that organization. They also work with veterans, Leos, and fire on aspects through a charity. So I work with two types of nonprofits.
We can all give him the collective finger.
Yeah. Your poor wife. Your poor wife.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
So,
Sorry there.
so you said it says Ruck.
It's Ruck, but the C is changed. It says are you okay? So the C is indicating the O.
You see the C is upside down.
I see the C, Ed.
So it's just break the stigma.
Although the opening of the C is pretty small there. But
yeah, I know. I agree there, Jim.
So to help break the stigma, because firefighters, police, and veterans, they all go through a lot of crap. So, and there's not a lot of people out there supporting them in different ways. And Ed knows this. I've been saying this for a few years now, is that the problem with our society is that they want veterans, Leos, and fire, whatever they're going through, whatever crap they went through, they want them to conform to society, where society technically needs to conform to them. And because what they do each and every day, protecting their rights on the road from police, fire, as well as you have veterans giving all these protesters their First Amendment right to protest. So that's one of the things that I've always been in support of, because my grandfather was in World War II, was a POW there. I have family members that were in the first Gulf War and so forth. So always trying to give back. And that's one of the things that I've been doing with a lot of my extreme hikes, rucks, obstacle course races, that I've raised the money for OEW to help support our honorees to either fly them to certain areas to do scuba diving, parachuting, or if they want to do an obstacle course race, we'll have people there with them to get over. This past fall, we had a 92-year-old World War II veteran at a Spartan race that we were supporting. So we got him there, his ticket, his meals, everything was paid for by us. Mm-hmm. So that's all the stuff that I've been doing, is trying to help raise money and bring awareness to these outstanding men and women.
Yeah, it's interesting, Alan, as you were saying that, I just saw Me Tube Brothers. I don't even want to. He's a old grade school friend of mine, and he's actually a local fire, retired. I'm probably going to get it wrong, Chris. He's a retired firefighter. He does still work with the fire departments. I'm sure I'm sure he will correct me here in a minute. Actually, you know what? I was actually there was actually Jim. There was something else other as Alan was talking or Crazy Man was talking. I have a question. I have something for Alex that I've been curious.
All right.
We have Alex and I have a mutual friend whose name is Marco Becker. He grew up in East Berlin. I worked with Marco for 10 plus, probably 12 years. Alex was a customer of ours. As I said, Marco grew up in East Berlin, was there when the wall fell, and he and I would have interesting conversations as he would describe his life in East Berlin on the other side of the wall. And he goes, we had a great life. We had plenty of food. We had this, that, and the other thing. It was good. We'd get care packages like people thought we had nothing. Now, granted, we didn't have freedoms to be able to speak out against the government and things like that, but we had plenty of food. We had, we vacationed on the Black Sea and things like that. And I guess what I was curious with you is, we had this perception of the old Soviet Union. What was it like growing up in the Ukraine?
Okay.
And when we were doing that, or Soviet era.
Countries of former Warsaw Bloc. Okay. Now, I mean, although they were kind of all roughly called, had like a socialism, if you will, quote unquote. No, not real one, but a made up one. But not all the countries had the same lifestyle or level of life. Okay, for example, East Germany, in that regard, East Germany, Yugoslavia, and if I'm not mistaken, Hungary had a better life as far as availability of food and clothes and freedom to travel and and work outside of their respective countries, compared to like Soviet Union and, for example, Bulgaria, where Romania were like probably the poorest, in that regard. Poland was kind of in the middle, basically. And in Soviet Union, back in those days, we didn't have, back in those days, if you wanted to travel outside of the Soviet Union, you had to have a special permission from like a KGB, communist leadership and stuff. And it was still easier to travel to the Eastern Bloc countries than to travel to like Western Bloc countries, to capitalist countries. Okay? And people who did travel to, like, for example, East Germany or Yugoslavia or Hungary, for example, they would always say that the life that people live there, they have more stuff, access to various things that we didn't have it. Okay, in Soviet Union, basically, if you lived in Moscow or St. Petersburg, you pretty much had more stuff available to you compared to places outside, of those two big cities, because both of those cities were, I call them screensaver. Okay, so basically, if you're a foreigner and you're arriving to the Soviet Union, they would basically, you're arriving to Moscow or you're arriving to St. Petersburg, and they would take you to all those old, great palaces and museums that were built way before Bolsheviks and stuff, by foreigners who were employed by the Russian czars to make, basically to make Russia look better than it was before. Okay, so if you in Moscow, in center of Moscow, life looks better. If you travel 20 miles each way, it looks like 18th century. Okay, it still does. Okay.
I was going to say when we went through there. I was going to say it still does. If you're in the main cities, it's great, like Ekaterinburg, Moscow, and so on. But the smaller cities are still rustic. They're very rustic.
Very rustic. You still have outhouses even now. Imagine you have an outhouse in the winter, like in Siberia. It's not fun. Okay.
Freeze your ass off.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, basically, you know, I remember, you know, I was a teenager when Gorbachev took power, and the whole openness and perestroika came about and whatnot. And you know, and basically, you know, when I was a teenager and stuck, you know, on my like early teens and late teens, I remember we had shortages with all kind of stuff. You know, it would be shortage of butter, shortage of clothes, shortage of, because again, when government is in charge of all of it, okay, from making socks to making winter coats to producing food, you know, it's all collective, okay. So which means no one's in charge, okay, and that's why, you know, I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe East Germany was slightly better run because it was maybe a smaller country, and Germans are more like, you know, I guess, I don't know, maybe more disciplined, if you will, you know, as far as you know, doing stuff, even during socialism. But Soviet Union was like, you know, it was a big mess. I remember, like, you know, let's say if you have some kind of a holiday or a birthday and you want to create, like, you know, some kind of, you know, better atmosphere for you, you know, maybe, you know, look for some food, look for some supplies. It usually takes you days to get stuff, if not weeks, you know, to have some special dish that you cannot have every day because various ingredients are not readily available. Okay, so
No candles on the birthday cake.
well, we had some candles, I guess, but
No,
it was like, you know, I'm just, you know, so I mean, it was, I mean, I remember like in early 80s when we had a shortage of butter, okay, it was a big article in a government-run health magazine saying, "Oh, butter is poison. Use margarine." Okay, for example, okay,
use margarine.
Or it was a joke. I mean, during the shortage of butter, the communist leaders, they summoned the best scientists and they gave them money and the lab and say, "Hey, here's the money, here's the lab. You have a year to make shit out of butter." Okay. I mean, a year passed, and they sent a delegation to that lab, you know, trying to see, I mean, the results, and they said, hey, you scientists, we gave you the best equipment, we gave you all the money, we gave you all the benefits, so, and we're expecting results. Okay, can you report back to us? And the chief scientist said, well, there is a small progress. It looks like butter, but still smells like shit.
I have a couple questions for you, Alex.
Sure.
So back at the height of the Soviet Union, you know, early 80s or whatever, what was the general feel from the people towards America? Like, were most of the people anti-American?
No, actually, I mean, the official propaganda was anti-West, anti-America, anti-capitalism. Right. You know, always showing like some protests on TV. Let's say there is a protest for some union wages and stuff, and they say, "Oh, look at these poor people. You know, they don't have stuff. They have to protest because government want to kick their ass. They want to put them in jail. Blah blah blah, and all that stuff." But some people were able to listen to those shortwave radios, okay? And they would listen to like Voice of America, Voice of Europe, you know, those so-called prohibited sources of information, okay? And some people would basically know what was said outside of a local Soviet propaganda, and they would analyze, and they would not, I mean, some people basically used to believe stuff, but then when the openness happened in the middle of 80s, less and less people started, kept believing the propaganda, and they were kind of, you know, looking to some open source of information to find out, you know, what was really going on, and basically trying to decide, you know, for themselves. In 82, for example, I was 11 years old, and Brezhnev died, okay, the first old grandpa. Basically died. And I remember our homeroom teacher, she told us, well, since we lost our leader and our government, or our, you know, the Communist Party leadership, hasn't picked his successor. We have like basically we have no leader in the meantime, and the USA gonna nuke us. Okay,
jeez.
and imagine you're like
That's what your
11
teacher was telling you? Oh yeah.
Hold on. So and we're like 11 years old. I mean, I was like thinking about it. I mean, first I was kind of scared. I go, it doesn't look right. And I was like, okay, why did US nuke us with Brezhnev? What changed? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, some of my classmates were like kind of laughing or like not really believing her because what she said was, I mean, of course she probably told us what was told, what somebody told her to say, and she said it like a parrot without actually thinking how it would come out and scare some 11 years old. I
Right.
mean, so
Hey, go ahead.
But as time went on, especially in late 80s, when the openness and when we got more information about what was going on, maybe, I mean, I'm not saying it was all truthful, but it was at least something else other than local propaganda. People in the late 80s, early 90s became, I guess, like if you will, friendlier or towards West and not thinking of them as, it's some kind of evil system that want to nuke us or want to put us down, or I mean, as we got some of those Western music, more of a Western music, and Western clothes and other stuff, it became
and more McDonald's started popping up over there.
Actually, the first one that was open in Moscow, people stayed like for a couple of hours around the block, trying to taste it because they never had it.
Right.
I mean, and now it's basically, it's just as junk food as anything else. Although currently in Russia, I mean, they basically, since the war with Ukraine, McDonald's actually pulled out of Russia, and then they basically replaced it with some kind of a local name, similar stuff, but but not.
Yeah.
With some other name, like.
Hey, my other question, Alex, is did you witness the miracle? The miracle on ice? Do you remember seeing the gold medal game?
I was 9 years old. I'm not sure if I did watch that game.
The Miracle on Ice, that was a playoff before.
Yeah, that was the semifinal game. That
was the semifinals. That was not the finals.
That wasn't the gold medal game. That's right.
No, that was the semi.
You're right.
But it's still a miracle on ice.
Yeah, but I think I'm not sure if I watched the game, but I know I knew about it, after the fact, I mean, I probably did watch it, but maybe I didn't pay as much attention. I mean, I don't remember. I mean, I was 9 years old. I mean, whether I paid attention or, I mean, I know it was televised, of course, like any other big event,
Sure.
of such magnitude and stuff. And I remember, I mean, when I was in fifth grade, I was like probably 12 or 13 at the time, or sixth grade, and then we had a geography teacher at the time who was amazed that I knew so many names of like American and Canadian cities, and he didn't know how I knew it because it was not a part of the book or part of the class. And the way I knew it, at the time, NHL teams were coming to Soviet Union to play against Soviet teams. Okay.
Okay.
And that's how I knew like Chicago and Ottawa and Winnipeg, and like basically all those big cities, New York and whatnot. And I always go. I mean, hockey was always like a great sport. It was a lot of politics in it because the Soviet Union had a great team, and when Soviet Union was like playing against Canada, US, like Finland or Czechoslovakia or Sweden, it was always like especially playing against the Western against the US and Canada, it was always like political entity. Look, we are better than those capitalists, and stuff. We're better athletes and them, and they don't. I mean, it was always like back and forth kind of. And I think And I think the coach of Soviet team who lost in that Miracle of Ice, he didn't get fired, but he probably got some kind of I don't know, some kind of
I thought they couldn't find him afterwards.
No, he had not.
He was saying
That's before Hillary. That's before the Clintons.
Before
the Clintons.
I mean, that guy, he still was a coach. I think all the way until the Soviet Union basically collapsed. He was the coach of the main Soviet army team, and he always had the best players at his disposal, because basically all the boys who were supposed to be drafted into the army at 18, right, those who were able to play hockey, instead of running with AK-47, they would play hockey for the army club. Okay, and he always had the best players at his disposal. I mean, and that's why his club was always first, and he was also a coach of a Soviet team. And he was a guy to be a great coach, but having all the best players from everywhere. I mean, it was, of course, it was easier. His job was easier to be the great if you don't have basically competition, in your league. You have the best.
Yeah, they were always, those Russian teams were always good in the 80s.
Yeah, and then I remember always strong. Yeah, in late 80s, early 90s, when some of the Soviet players started to defect,
right. And they went to the Detroit Red Wings, and they were all on the Red Wings.
Yeah. I mean, some of them.
Most of them.
But I'm saying, I mean, in '98 when the Caps played in their first Stanley Cup, I think it was like I think the 2 or 3 of their lines were all Russian. Mm-hmm. It seemed. I mean, I'm probably exaggerating.
I think that at some point it was one of the like the three offensive players and 2 defenders. They all were like from that. I mean,
no, that's good, Jim. Good questions, Jim.
Thanks, Ed.
You're good. Yeah. All right.
I'm very intrigued with Alex and his upbringing.
Sure, that's why.
When did you have when did they give kids like their first taste of vodka? Does that happen early on in life, or?
Well, I mean, it probably did depend on the family. I know I did try my first alcohol when I was 16. It was probably like some kind of wine or champagne. I didn't like vodka. I mean, early in the day, because it always tastes kind of weird to me. And even now, I don't regard vodka as a great liquor. I mean, it's okay, but there are so many better tasted liquors like tequila and whiskey and etc. So I mean,
plus you're a beer guy at heart anyway.
Yeah,
you prefer beer.
Yeah, I prefer beer, but I prefer a beer as like a beer taste, and not just getting drunk. And I just want to try different kinds.
Right. Yeah, we're all past that. We're all older now and past that.
I mean, and
it
again,
hurts. It hurts more. Hurts more in the morning when you go. No, it's funny. He said he was 16, and Jim, I said, Jim, when was the first time you drank vodka? Well, I'm using vodka, or beer or whatever.
I had champagne at 16, not vodka.
Yeah.
I remember.
It's funny how we always assume that the Europeans teach
kids to
drink sooner than us. And that's not on you. That's an American thing.
Right.
And I think some of the American people drink earlier than the Europeans do, and the Europeans have a better handle on it.
Well, I wasn't given permission to have my first drink by any stretch. You know what I mean?
Neither was I. Yeah. I don't think so. No.
If Gloria's still watching, she might be able to.
Look, this was Gloria's latest cut. This was.
Nice.
The second check's now in the mail, Gloria.
She probably went to bed. But like, I just remember whenever there was a big family function, like a holiday dinner or something, and my mom had this thing for Asti Spumante, the sparkling. I don't know what it is. Sparkling wine.
Sparkling wine. It's wine. It's
sparkling wine. Yeah. It's not a champagne, but
no, it's a sparkling wine. Yeah. It's like a bubbly wine.
Right. Yeah. So. Anytime we were clearing the table and the adults were already off in the other room, floaters around.
So you were like from Caddyshack. What's his name? He's going around drinking all the things. Then you puke in the Porsche.
Well,
And you run out the puke in the Porsche, right?
Yeah.
It's basically it's the same stuff. Only people in France in Champagne region can call their stuff champagne.
Right. Yes, that's true. Good point.
Or it's called cava in Spain. They make same kind of wine. It's a
trade has to come out of France. That's right.
Yeah, like cognac. It's only French. That's why it's called brandy. Everywhere else. Because it's a trademark.
Right.
It cannot be outside of that region where champagne or cognac is made.
Well, gents,
is bourbon the same thing?
What's that?
Bourbon can only be called that. Is that what's out of
bourbon has to be made out of specific oak barrels, and the grain, the mash has to be a certain percentage to be called bourbon. Well, guys, we're up at the hour mark.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that was a quick one. Good job. But before we end this, I want to do one last thing. We got to all give our predictions for Sunday. So, no, we're not doing the cheers. Okay, so give me a score. Okay, give me a score. What's Crazy Man? What do you think? So it's going to be Go Birds, and it's going to be what's the score?
Birds by 7.
Okay, I'll give you that. Alex, I know you just flip a coin and figure it out. Since you're not.
Well, I think Kansas City by 8.
Boo!
All right.
8.
All right.
I go.
Your boy, what do you got?
Eagles 34, Chiefs 31.
Thank you, Nana. Always appreciate you watching.
Yeah.
Say that again, Jim.
34-31 Eagles.
Oh, okay. All right. You stole my thunder, but I'm going the other way. I think Kansas City's going to be the first three-peat.
Come on.
And it's going to be a 3-point. It's going to be a field goal with the buzzer.
Oh.
It's going to go down to the end.
Oh.
What? No OT?
No OT.
Ooh.
That sounds good, Chris.
Polish whiskey.
Next time you and I get together.
Yeah.
Polish whiskey. I know, like Polish vodka made out of potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin does potato vodka. My second cousin does.
Well, Ed, you're going to have to bring him over for scotch in the garage.
Who?
Your friend.
Chris? Oh yeah. We'll have to bring. Yeah, he's down in Frederick. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out because he's like down in Fredericksburg. But anyway, good show, guys. Everybody seemed to like it. We had a few viewers. Everybody who's watching next week, catch Mr. Rubio in the group with Decades Thunderdome. Same time, same channels. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Bros. Thank you all for watching. Guys, have a great rest of your week. And we are.